trying to find the right combination. Clobbered last week, 38-14 at home against the Jets. 10th regular season meeting between these two teams. Buffalo leads the series 5 games to 4. The teams have split the last 6 meetings. 5 consecutive seasons, these teams have met each other. Josh Scobie sending it away. C.J. Spiller back deep. And the rookie fields it in the end zone, and he'll bring it out. Spiller over the 10. And Spiller gets close to the 20-yard line. A 21-yard return. Kerry Harris. Meanwhile, Ryan Fitzpatrick comes into the game. And Fitzpatrick starting for the 3rd time after replacing Trent Edwards, who was the starting quarterback for the first 2 weeks, cut and eventually released by this Buffalo team. 1st down and 10 at the 18-yard line. Fred Jackson in the backfield. 1,000-yard back 1 year ago. Here's the handoff. Jackson over the left side, turns the corner with the running room, gets out of bounds at the 25. David Jones with the tackle, a 7-yard gain. Let's take a look at the Buffalo Bills offense.
Well, up front, Gus, Eric Wood, the right guard, broke his leg badly against these same Jacksonville Jaguars a year ago. They're pretty solid down inside. Cornell Green, Demetrius Bella, the tackle, still finding their way. And as the skill positions, it's all about Freddie Jackson this week. This is the guy that got it done last year, had a historic season, 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards in kickoff returns, the only guy ever to do it. 2nd down and 3 at the 25. McIntyre, Jackson line up in the eye. Here's Jackson straight ahead. Oh, Jackson chopped down. Terrific looking tackle as Smith comes up. Anthony Smith makes the play, no gain. Let's take a look now at this Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Well, up front, Aaron Kapman has given them a really credible pass rush just by showing up. Plus, he's become a guy that the young players in the front 7 have really looked to show them how it's done. In that linebacking core, Kirk Morrison coming over from the Oakland Raiders. He feels refreshed and refurbished in a new atmosphere in Jacksonville. And in the defensive backfield, Rashean Mathis, he's their best player. He'll go where they think he's needed most, whoever's out there.
3rd down and 3 at the 25. Fitzpatrick out of the shotgun. Now he rolls out and goes down. Aaron Kampman, the former Green Bay Packer, with the sack. That's a loss of 5, and Buffalo will have to punt it away.
Well, they ran a game. He came all the way from the outside, and you see him coming inside Wood, the guard. He started outside Green, the tackle. So they ran an X stunt, and Kampman came free. Offensive line's got to know how to pick that up. That's a basic stunt that the Jaguars run. Of course, Kampman's not a basic player.
2.5 sacks now for Kampman on the season, their biggest free agent acquisition during the offseason. So on 4th down, Mormon will punt it away. Mike Thomas back deep over to the sideline. Thomas fields it at the 41. Lost it! The Bills have it! So Buffalo catches a break. Garrison Sanborn with the recovery.
And Gus, I believe Kerry Harris forced the fumble. Mike Thomas gets a good handle on this. He's just going to try and keep it from bouncing. Makes a couple guys miss, tries to, and there it is. The ball is out, and the coverage is there.
That's right,
yeah.
Kerry Harris putting the helmet on the football.
Mike Thomas, who's having a good year, wide receiver coming into his own, but that's the last thing you want to happen early in the game after your defense gets a 1, 2, 3 and out. Make them come right back onto the field in bad field position.
1st down and 10 at the 45-yard line for Buffalo. Corey McIntyre, Fred Jackson. Here's Fitzpatrick to pass it. Goes down the sideline. Evans has it! Touchdown! yards.
Gus, whenever you turn the football over, you know the defense is going to be a little bit disheartened coming on the field. That's when you want to go right at him. They hit Lee Evans down the sideline. Watch as he's working here right against David Jones. And you can't throw it any better than that. Lee Evans has been in Buffalo a long time with a lot of quarterbacks. That's his 40th career touchdown reception.
Brings Ryan Lindell in to attempt the extra point. It's up and good, and the Bills are on the board. Ryan Fitzpatrick, the Harvard graduate, throwing a strike here at Orchard Park. Welcome back. Mike Thomas on your left, fumbles the punt. Lee Evans on your right makes him play, makes him pay with that terrific 45-yard touchdown, and Buffalo takes a 7-0 lead. Lindell kicks it off. Kareem deep in his own end zone and will take a knee. So the starting quarterback for Jacksonville, David Garrard. Last week, he had a great week. 17 of 22, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. His quarterback rating was 127.7. He wasn't sacked in the game, and he completed 77% of his passes, second highest in his career in that 31-28 victory. And we talked to David yesterday. What he wants to do is start running the football a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's key for him. Stop trying to beat people from the pocket when there's nothing to have them beaten with. Just tuck the ball and run. He made a nice 25-yard touchdown run a week ago in Indianapolis, and in a game that was that close, that was the difference.
First down and 10 at the 20. Every team has scored against the Bills on their opening drive this season. Garrard. Here's a reverse Mike Thomas. He has some room around the corner. Thomas, nice piece of running. He gets to the 37-yard line before being tackled. A 17-yard run. Dwan Edward with the tackle. Let's take a look at this Jacksonville Jaguars offense.
And it starts up front with Brad Meester. He's the communicator. This offensive line is really licking its chops against a run defense that's given up 200 yards on the ground in consecutive weeks. In the skill positions, you know, you look at Mike Thomas, the guy who just fumbled that punt. He's having a good year. Look for him to try and make up for an early mistake with a big play later in this game.
First down and 10 at the 36. Here's a straight ahead run. And Maurice Jones-Drew coming off a 100-yard game last week. Gain of 4. Troop with the tackle. Defensively for Buffalo.
Well, up front, Marcus Stroud, the 10-year veteran, was drafted by this Jacksonville Jaguars team. You know he wants to play well today against his old team. And for the linebackers, anchored by Paul Puzzles, he's been in and out of the lineups with injuries, but he's the guy this team looks to make a lot of tackles. He did that a week ago. And in the secondary, Leotis McKelvin into the game for Terrence McGee, who's out with an injury. McKelvin, supremely gifted athletically. We'll see if it makes a difference today.
2nd and 7 at the 39. Over the middle! Picked up! Davis! And Buffalo has it again! Andre Davis! Oski! He kept that thing in the air, pulled it down, and Jacksonville turns it over. 11-yard return.
It looked like a birthday party keeping the balloon off the ground. He kept it going and finally pulled it in. And you know, David Garrard was just sick to his stomach watching this thing bounce around in the secondary. Got tipped at the line of scrimmage. Right there, he finally pulls it in and gets the yardage down deep into Jacksonville. This is not the way Jacksonville could afford to start this game. 2 turnovers the first 2 times they touched the football. Right there,
Terrell Troop, the rookie out of Central Florida. First down and 10 at the 30. C.J. Spiller in for the Bills. Here's Spiller, bounces it outside with a lead. The rookie on the sideline and the burst. He's out of bounds at the 10. Darrell Smith pushed him out of bounds, but it's a gain of 19.
Well, you'll see here as he turns this around the corner. Watch as he just shifts gears, because he has got outstanding speed, and he bounces out. The defense has a hard time taking the proper angle. Watch the block here by Johnson. Gets right on him. Jones trying to do something to get the guy herded out of bounds and can't do it. Big play for Buffalo.
First down and 10 at the 11-yard line. Spiller remains in the backfield. Here's Spiller. And Spiller will be stopped. Alu, the impressive rookie out of California, got to him first. So Buffalo this season, they've been in the red zone 6 times. As you take a look at Garrard, Chan Gailey talking to him at the Bills facility on Friday. He looked frustrated. but at the same time, he looked determined.
Yeah, he knows he's a guy with a plan. He's had a plan for this team and its future, and he's going to stick with it. But let's face it, these are the hard times when it's tough to stick with a plan, when things don't look bright. There's no sunlight at the end of the tunnel, but he's going to do it.
Second down and 9 at the 10. Fitzpatrick. And a whistle. Be a false start.
Yeah, Cornell Green.
Over 74, offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
And Coach Gailey telling us on Friday, I thought it was very interesting. He said, Steve, we have to take what we do in practice and apply it to the game.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too, because that was the knock on Trent Edwards, the quarterback they traded away. He was a great practice player, looked good, was better than Ryan Fitzpatrick, better than Brian Brom, any of the quarterbacks the Bills had in camp. But when the game lights came on, Trent evaporated. And Chan Gailey's not going to wait on him to get it. He's moving on.
Second and 14 at the 15. Fitzpatrick rolls out, sets up a screen, and tip. Terrific job by Campman to get a hand on that football and deflect it.
Well, that was a well set up play, kind of a fake bootleg pass, screen pass. You'll watch. Fitzpatrick moves out, and Spiller is open. He's going to have a lot of space, and you see they're finding ways to get Spiller the football, or trying to, with a little room around him. You saw a play before that, before the false start. They handed Spiller the ball right up through the tackles. That's not what he does best.
So brings up a third down, 14 at the 15. They need to get to the 1-yard line for a first down. Fitzpatrick in the shotgun. Fitzpatrick steps into his throw underneath. It won't be enough, however. For the first down, as David Nelson, the rookie out of Florida, makes the catch. Gerald Alexander stops him, and it's a 4-yard gain.
Yeah, it's going to force the field goal attempt, and the Jaguars coming with a 4-man rush, but it was 2 defensive backs, 2 defensive linemen, and everybody else dropped into coverage, doing a nice job of trying to confuse the protection of the Bills. Now Fitzpatrick got that off. If he'd have taken a little extra time, he might have had to throw deeper downfield, maybe for an attempt at the first down.
Ryan Lindell in for 29-yarder. He's made 28 straight inside of 40 yards. That one up. And he's made 29 straight now inside 40 yards. Bills off to a terrific start. 0-4 on the season. They lead the Jaguars 10-0 on their home field.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Beautiful shot of Niagara Falls on the American side as the Buffalo Bills take a 10-0 lead over the Jaguars. Lindell sends it away. Deji Kareem back deep, comes up, fields it at the 11-yard line. Deji Kareem with a little seam, and Kareem all the way up over the 40, maybe the 42. Aiken Adele with the tackle, and here comes David Garrard. He's got to try to regroup after turning it over. And welcome back. Support the NFL's A Crucial Catch breast cancer awareness campaign by bidding on authentic game day NFL pink products and experiences at NFL.com/auction. Proceeds benefit the American Cancer Society. A lot of players wearing pink shoes and gloves and caps and wristbands, sweatbands to honor this event. First down and 10 at the 42. Jones-Drew in the backfield. Maurice Jones-Drew. And Maurice Jones-Drew crosses the 45 up to the 47, a gain of 5. Kyle Williams with the tackle. Denver taking on Baltimore today. Here's Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Gus, and Baltimore looking to get on the board first. Not going to happen here on 4th and goal. Joe Flacco never going to get it off, courtesy of Jason Hunter. The Broncos take a stand. It is scoreless in Baltimore. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker, back to you.
And thank you very much, Greg. Second down and 5 at the 47. Here's a handoff. Maurice Jones-Drew trying to wait for his blocks to set up. Finally finds a crease outside. Stop and start out of bounds at the 30. What a changing of gears by MJD. Whitner pushed him out of bounds. Gain of 23.
Hey, you talk about changing gears. Watch as he comes back. He's just going to stand there and look. Watch. He'll just stop. What pace? Yeah, I tell you, Gus, you have no idea what kind of guts you have to stand still with the ball in your hand in the NFL. Because you know guys are looking for you. That is a true professional run right there. A guy who knows it's coming and is willing to wait on it. Wow.
Jones drew on the sideline. Here's Deji Kareem. And Kareem gets further into Jacksonville territory. Davis and Bird with the tackle. Green Bay taking on the Skins. Here's Greg Gumbel again.
Hey, Gus, Brandon Jackson rambled 71 yards to set this up. Aaron Rodgers' 9th touchdown pass of the year. That one to Donald Lee. And the Packers lead the Redskins at FedEx Field 7-0. Gus and Steve.
All right, Greg, I tell you, that Aaron Rodgers is a terrific football player, Steve. He can really throw the ball.
Oh, they've got a really good team in Green Bay. They're looking for some big things to have this season end on. He was 12 for 17 last week with 3 touchdowns.
Second down and 6 of the 26. Kareem still in the backfield. They hand it to him. And Deji Kareem stopped by Drayton Florence. A 1-yard gain on the play.
And you see this as this drive unfolds. Jacksonville finally settling in after turning the football over twice in the early going, just content to handing it off, pounding the football down. And that's really the first play they've had that didn't get significant yardage in the run game. And as it gets tougher and tougher down close to the goal line, they're going to ask more and more of David Garrard.
Third down and 5 to 25. Let's see if Garrard uses his legs. Out of the gun. Rolls out of the pocket. Garrard looking to throw. Garrard. And they string him out. Great job by the Bills defense. The secondary with terrific coverage. A loss of 6 on the play.
And you'll watch as the receivers come out. They're all going to be covered up. Double teamed up here at the top. Double teamed right there. I mean, there's just nowhere for him to throw it. And I'll tell you what, Gus, as bad as that play looked for Jacksonville, that's exactly what David Garrard had to do. He had to eat that football. He could have thrown it away as an incompletion, but he ate the football, didn't let anything bad happen. That's a plus for David Garrard, not a minus.
49-yard attempt by Josh Scobie, who's 5 of 5 on the season. It's up. And good.
The kick is good.
49-yard field goal for Scobie. Jaguars on the board, 10-3.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Charles Schwab. Get the help your money deserves. Talk to Chuck. And by Acura. The most innovative thinking you'll find in an Acura.
(10-3). Buffalo with the lead over Jacksonville, but how about Josh Scobie? Last year, he missed 10 field goals. This season, he's a perfect 6 for 6, all over 40 yards. His shortest field goal, 44 yards on the season, and he just nailed a 49-yarder. C.J. Spiller brings it out of the back of the end zone. Spiller still running, and C.J. Spiller knocked out of bounds by the kicker, Josh Scobie. Another nice return of 30 yards.
Yeah, you look, Gus, at the points off turnovers. It started with Mike Thomas coughing this ball up on the punt return. The Bills get it, and that leads to the big play down the sidelines to Lee Evans. And then the tip pass at the line of scrimmage being caught by Andre Davis. That sets up this field goal by Lindell and an early 10-0 lead for the Bills. And Jacksonville actually answered that with a field goal of their own. But since 2008, the Bills are pretty good when they can force 2 turnovers. But that means for the rest of the day, they can't turn it over either, guys. They got to stay +2.
First down and 10 at the 27. Fred Jackson in the backfield running. Lowers his shoulder and picks up a couple. Now let's stay with Fred Jackson. We talked to him. What was behind the trade to send Marshawn Lynch, who was a former first-round pick out of Cal, to Seattle to go with an undrafted player like Fred Jackson?
Well, if you talk to the executives here in Buffalo, they said, well, there's no reason to trade Marshawn Lynch during training camp early in the season because there's a draft pick in next year's class doesn't do us any good. Let's see if Marshawn can break loose and give us something. And if he can't, then we'll trade him, which is what they did. They're perfectly happy with Freddie Jackson.
Here's Jackson again. Fred Jackson breaking tackles. Fred Jackson Gets to the 45. And that's what you like about him, Steve. He is a between-the-tackles type runner. Alexander and Mathis combining, 18-yard pickup.
Yeah, and you see how we mentioned how Maurice Jones-Drew is very patient. Watch Freddie Jackson just waits for the hole, then takes the step out, takes what he can get, and this is where he's his best. Right at the end of that run, Gus, he doesn't try and bounce it out one more time, doesn't try to outrun everybody. He puts his shoulders down and gets the last 3 or 4 yards to add it on to the end of that run. Great job. He's a smart runner. You'll never see a more intelligent runner with the ball in his hands than Fred Jackson.
First down and 10 at the 45. Jackson again. This time will go nowhere. But Fred Jackson last year, as Knighton brings him down, what a season. He surpassed 1,000 yards rushing in Week 17 against Indy with the career best 212 yards rushing. The first 200-plus yard day since Thurman Thomas did it September 24th, 1990, your teammate.
Yeah, the guy is great. I mean, there's no question. He's a solid professional player. Worked his way up there. You know, it's a long way from arena football to the NFL and co-college, but here he is.
Fitzpatrick to throw it to the sideline. Oh, that one sailing over the head of Roscoe Parrish, the Lilliputian. Parrish very dangerous out in space.
Yeah, and Roscoe Parrish getting a much larger role in the offense this year as he's running the deep comeback. And that's what a receiver has to do, Gus. As fast as they are, the ability to stop hard and get out of the break is really the thing that gives them separation. Parrish got the separation on that play, but Fitzpatrick threw the ball just a little too early.
Third down and 11 at the 44. Fitzpatrick with time, sets, steps into his throw, pass, climbing the ladder. That time he got up high. First down, Buffalo. Rasheed Mathis with the tackle. So on 3rd and 11, they pick up 20.
And that was a pretty darn good throw by Fitzpatrick. He had lots of time. The offensive line doing a great job to give Roscoe Parrish time to run the route, stop it, and then adjust back outside. That's a long time to develop. Fitzpatrick delivers the ball, and Parrish goes up and gets it. Great play on both ends of that one.
First down and 10 at the 36 now. The handoff, Jackson with a hole. Jackson down the sideline. Freddie Jackson to the 25. An 11-yard gain. Smith, Mathis with the tackle.
Watch as Stupor comes in. This is going to lead him back, goes in motion the other way, and Freddie Jackson cuts right inside of it, gets a great block downfield by Lee Evans on Mathis. That's the block right there. Freddie Jackson, as I said, he knows where to go with the ball in his hands, and that's a first down. Well blocked up front by Buffalo.
6 carries, 35 yards for Jackson. First and 10 of the 25. They give it to him again. And again he has room. Cuts it inside. Jackson lost his helmet, but he kept going forward. Gets to the 16, gained 8. Allen, Smith, there you go. Fred Jackson getting his crowd pumped up.
Well, there's a guy that's been sitting on the bench for the first month of the season after having a career year and finally gets a chance. You see there, it's exactly what I told you about. He's not going to try and outrun that guy to the corner of the end zone or to the corner of the sidelines. He's stopping and turning it upfield. That's one of the things he does so well. He finishes runs on the positive.
Second down and 2 of the 17. Fitzpatrick rolling out. Spiller with a catch. And CJ knocked out of bounds by Anthony Smith. Chan Gailey made the tough decision. Released Trent Edwards, his starting quarterback, the first 2 weeks, then traded away a former first-round pick in Marshawn Lynch. It looks, at least in this game so far, Steve, that they found some rhythm in the backfield.
Well, I think Freddie Jackson gives him that. He's a runner that always gets positive yards. When Marshawn Lynch was here, he'll give you a couple of positives, but he'll take a negative occasionally. Freddie Jackson doesn't do that, and that sets things up better for C.J. Spiller.
And the Bills with some movement on the left side of their line.
Yeah, that's the second red zone penalty for Buffalo today.
Star number 80, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's David Martin.
Yeah, you don't want to, right up in here, you don't want to make these kind of mistakes when you get down close. because it involves points. When you get down close, it means points.
Second false start penalty called against Buffalo. First down on the long 15. At the 19, Spiller in the backfield. Steve Johnson in motion. Underneath, Lee Evans on the slant, and he gets to the 10. Rasheed Mathis brings him down, but it's a gain of 9.
I think at this point, as you watch the slant route by Evans, just right in, the ball comes right out, and when you're playing off coverage down close, you're always susceptible to that. And you saw just underneath that as the Jaguars tried to drop the linebacker out and defend the slant that way. You've got to find a way to do that, because if you're going to leave the guy open, the quarterback will hit him right now.
2nd and 6 at the 10. Spiller. And C.J. Spiller taken down at the 5. Derek Harvey drops him. But that's what you're starting to see more of from C.J. He's really learning how to take his time in the backfield as opposed to just using his speed all the time.
Well, when you're so fast, and C.J. Spiller is fast, I mean, he's very fast, so he's learning to adjust his speed to when he can use it and shift gears.
And that'll take us to the end of the first quarter with the score: Buffalo 10, Jacksonville 3. We'll return to Buffalo after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. 3rd down and 1 at the 5-yard line as you take a look at this season stat for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, that's first 4 games. They only led for 8-13 the entire first month of the season. They led for 13-01 of the first quarter today, plus the turnover difference. That's huge.
With the ball at the 5-yard line for Chan Gailey's Bills. C.J. Spiller and McIntyre in the offset eye. Spiller in motion. McIntyre straight ahead, and he leans forward. Picks up maybe a yard on the play as he was stopped by Smith. First down.
Well, now comes the hard part. You get a 1st and goal on the 5. The one thing you don't want to do if you're the Bills is do something that's going to cause your team to jump off sides again. They've had 2 illegal procedure penalties in the first quarter down inside the 15-yard line. Go on quick counts or first sound snap counts. And I'm telling you what, Gus, the good teams are able to run it down here. That's what you've got to do. At least make the Jaguars think that you're going to run the football. That way they'll play honest and you'll have a chance.
So Buffalo picks up the first down by the length of the football. First down and goal at the 4. Play of the drive that started at the Buffalo 27. As the Bills break out, the Harvard man, Fitzpatrick. Jackson behind him. He's great down here. Here's Freddie. To the 1. Darrell Smith, first man to him. Fred Jackson gains 3 yards.
Well, you said it. He's very good because he is so patient, has such rhythm, doesn't really ever seem to plant his foot and just go, but he does it a lot. He looks so smooth and fluid. The old kind of Marcus Allen type running back, you know, just kind of, you never see the guy really change direction, but he's always changing direction.
2nd down, goal at the 1. 2 tight ends for Buffalo. Jackson. Oh, he won't get there. Flag on the play.
Fred Jackson on the carry. There's a flag down.
Holding 77 offense. 10-yard penalty. Down.
That's Demetrius Bell, the left tackle.
Yeah, and those are the kind of things that hurt you. There's been 3 penalties down close today. Right here, down inside. Oh, and you see there he got Campman around the neck.
So instead of having it 2nd and goal at the 1, it's 2nd and goal at the 11-yard line.
Yeah, it's one thing if that happens across the field, Gus, but right at the point of attack where the running back's running, they're always going to see it.
Just like you said, you can't have penalties in these situations. Fitzpatrick in the shotgun. Fitzpatrick rolling out of the pocket. Turns a corner. Flag on the play, and he gets down inside the 10.
Fitzpatrick on the keeper.
Campman
2 flags
stops
down.
him.
Yeah, there were lots of flags on this play. There was one right in the backfield as Fitzpatrick broke contain, and there's one at the line of scrimmage on the far side.
By both. Offside for 13 on the offense. Hold 21 deep. Offset. Down.
Well, a little piping in and out of his microphone, but they're going to just replay that down, and that's one of those things, because that play never happened.
So Steve Johnson and Derek Cox called for the penalties.
Yeah, and that's just lining up in the neutral zone. And so many times in a receiver, you'll see him come out to the side of the line of scrimmage, and they'll point to the official, and the official say, okay, you're good there. He obviously did not do that because he didn't get the okay from the official.
2nd down and goal at the 11. Parrish in motion. Lee Evans at the bottom of your screen. Fitzpatrick underneath, incomplete. Ball intended for Steve Johnson. Fans wanted a flag.
No, they're not going to get that. It was well defended by Cox. Watch on the outside, coming from the top of the screen, gets across the face. Could have called maybe an illegal contact, but I don't think you're going to get that call. He didn't impede the progress, and then Fitzpatrick takes the shot in the pocket.
Derek Cox, 2nd year out of William & Mary. 3rd down goal at the 11. Lee Evans and Parrish split wide at the top of your screen. Steve Johnson at the bottom. Fitzpatrick, straight drop. Underneath, Roscoe with the grab. Roscoe down inside the 5. Gerald Alexander with the tackle, a 7-yard gain on 3rd and goal at the 11.
Man, that's one of the things about the Bills offense. Roscoe Parrish is a lot like C.J. Spiller. You get him the ball in space, and you've got to watch him. You've got to really rally to the ball, because he will make one guy miss and then another guy miss as well. And you've really got to get down there and corral him. That's what's, I think that's what's been missing from this Bills offense, Gus. They have not been able to get the ball to the guys who can do those kinds of things enough.
Ryan Lindell already good from 29. This one from 22 yards out, and it's good. Bills continue to put points on the board. 12:08 to play, 2nd quarter. Buffalo up 13-3.
You think head coach Chan Gailey is happy about settling for 3 points after that field goal, after that drive? No, he's not happy about having to take 3 points. He wanted a touchdown, but then he gets himself, and he says, okay, good job, guys. And that's not, head coaching takes over rather than his personal feelings. He starts to be a cheerleader again.
Kareem inside the 5. And A.J. Kareem crosses the 20. George Wilson with the tackle on special teams, a 22-yard return. So here comes MJD. Maurice Jones-Drew, Jacksonville trailing 13-3. And don't miss Fantasy Football Today post-game live tonight at 7:30 Eastern. The web's only Sunday night fantasy post-game show is on CBSSports.com. Steve, you know that man?
He's been there for a long time.
Here's the pass, Zach Miller. Nice catch. 11-yard gain. Tasker 89. I wonder.
Wait, I got to circle that. That's nice.
That's right. Well, that's not the only place that name exists. Steve Tasker.
Oh, yes.
Ring of Honor.
That is an honor. Very much.
7-time Pro Bowl. 4 Super Bowls. My partner. 1st down and 10 at the 36.
And that's the greatest honor right there, being your partner.
Here's David Garrard trying to find a rhythm on offense. Here's Maurice Jones-Drew, goes nowhere. Terrific play by Spencer Johnson. A loss of 5.
One of the things that the Bills have really struggled with is run defense, and you see that Jacksonville, you knew they were going to come in and really make an attempt to do it. And That's a play that Johnson got in the middle of. It was supposed to cut back to the left, and Johnson got so much penetration, he blew the play up before it could develop.
Second down and 14 at the 32. Garrard in the shotgun. And David Garrard with time underneath. Maurice Jones-Drew out of the backfield. And he's gobbled up quickly. Paul Posluszny, the Penn State linebacker, with the tackle, a 6-yard gain.
Yeah, I don't think that Jacksonville wants to throw the football on second down. But when you take a loss like they did just a moment ago, and it brings up 2nd and 15, now they've got to get themselves into a 3rd and manageable, which is what they did, 3rd and 7. But this Jacksonville team has got to do better on 1st and 2nd down. You can't just hand it off, and you can't just run it. They have to stay balanced.
3rd down and 8 at the 38. They need to go to the 46 for a first. Bills looking like they want to blitz. They back out of it. Here's Garrard down the sideline. Yes, great catch. Mercedes Lewis across the middle. Knocked out of bounds by Whitner, but Mercedes Lewis with a 14-yard gain. And man, Steve, is this man having a good season?
He really is. He's emerged as a real physical matchup. I mean, you look at him, and the guy's 6'6", 275 pounds, and Dante Whitner coming up trying to lay a lick on him at 5'10", 208. Mercedes Lewis just looks at him and says, "What are you doing?"
3 touchdown receptions on the year for Lewis. 1st and 10 at the 47. Maurice Jones-Drew running. And Maurice Jones-Drew right into a scrum. Gets to the maybe 3 yards on the play. Hard guy to bring down, Steve.
Just stack. I don't think they ever brought him down on that play. I think they just stopped him. He wouldn't go down. You'll never see a stronger running back. Maurice Jones-Drew, you talk to him, and he really is. The first thing that strikes you is how short he is. But he's not small. And the guy has the real ability to run powerfully and physically, even for a guy that's not tall.
2nd down and 7 at the 44. Garrard rolling out of the pocket, finds Miller. His tight end, who dives forward. Posluszny brings him down. Nice catch, though. McKelvin also in on that play.
This is the kind of drive Jacksonville wants to put on the field. I mean, they want to give the ball to Maurice Jones-Drew, roll David Garrard out, get him out of the pocket, let him see the field, only give him half the field to read. Don't make him go all over the field, all 53 1/3 yards wide the field is. Just make him read a part of the field and throw the football or run it. That's the kind of offense Jack Del Rio wants this Jaguar team to put on the field.
Deji Kareem in the game at running back for Jacksonville. Here's Kareem skipping. And Kareem crosses the 35, gets to about the 33, a 4-yard pickup. It's funny, talking to Maurice Jones-Drew yesterday at the team hotel, he said to us, you know, they drafted 2 young running backs. Are they trying to get me out of here already? Tongue firmly planted in cheek, by the way.
Yeah, you know that. He went to his first Pro Bowl a year ago. But, you know, by the same token, Gus, here's a 5th-year guy. I mean, he's in the prime of his career. And you wonder, you know, when's it going to be? He's going to need someone to complement him.
2nd down and 6 at the 33. Play fake. Garrard sets up. Scrambles. Tucks it. Garrard gets down to the 25 and picks up a 1st down. That's what you want to see from David Garrard, and we talked to him about that yesterday.
Yeah, and he had a great story about his wife cornering Dirk Cutter, the offensive coordinator, saying, you know, you got to let him be who he is. This is who he is. He runs the football when there's nobody to throw it to. And she cornered the offensive coordinator at his son's birthday party. It's great, and they were all they laughed about it. It was a funny story, but that's what it is. That's who David Garrard is.
Sometimes, you know, when the boss speaks, his wife Mary, people listen. Maurice Jones-Drew. And he picks up a couple, 3 yards. It was really funny when we were talking to David Garrard yesterday. He said, Mary, you know, she didn't really want to say anything, but then when they finally asked her, she said, listen, you need to start rolling them out, letting them run the football. And she also told him that, honey, you need to be who you are.
That's right.
and stop trying to beat everybody with the pass all the time.
Right.
You're a good runner.
You don't have to stand in the pocket and beat him. That was great, and they all laughed about it. It was a very, very funny story. And but it happens.
2nd and 7 to the 24. Garrard looking over the middle. Knocked down. Oh, what a nice defensive play by Drayton Florence.
Yeah, getting matched up in zone coverage on Maurice Jones-Drew. Coming out of the backfield, Florence just making the break on the ball. And that's one of this defensive backfield thought to be one of the strengths of this Bills defense coming out of training camp. Making the play on that one.
3rd down 7 at the 24. This crowd rising to their feet. Rooting on the defense. Garrard in a gun. Garrard! Flag on the play. He is under major pressure by Reggie Corner.
And I think they're going to call a sack on that. There's a flag down. I think the flag is for holding. I don't think they called intentional grounding.
Holding. Number 63. Offense. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
That's the center, Brad Meester.
And this is going to bring up a long field goal attempt. Meester's right down inside, working right there against Stroud. And this is where the hold is right here. But of course the sack happens right at Garrard's feet.
Remember now, Scobie last week nailed a 59-yarder to win the game. He's hit a 49-yarder today. This one again from 49 yards out. He's 6 for 6 on the season. Red hot. Good snap. It's up. Wow. Clean.
Wow.
Splits the uprights. 13-6. 2 49-yard bombs by Scobie.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Sony. And by the new 2011 Lincoln MKX with My Lincoln Touch.
Last week, Jaguars and Colts were tied at 28 when Josh Scobie booted a franchise record 59-yard field goal on the final play of the game. That gave the Jaguars a 3-point win. And Gus, you mentioned it earlier, he has tried a bunch of field goals this year, has not missed, and all of them were over 40 yards. Take it from a guy, Gus, I love special teams. For this month of September and October, half of October, this guy's the special teams player of the year in the NFL. You cannot count on making 40-yard field goals every single time. It's 50-50 at best, particularly past 45 yards.
Shortest field goal of the season for Scobie so far, 44 yards. Spiller from the 3. CJ. And CJ Spiller over the 25 up to the 27, a 25-yard return. Cutrera with the tackle on special teams. 13-6 Buffalo. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join Greg Gumbel, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. Very competitive first half. 13-6 Buffalo. Fitzpatrick, and he just falls down. Terrence Knighton with the sack. A lot of Jacksonville pressure. That's a loss of 6.
Yeah, that double tight end formational play action pass, and nothing came open. Fitzpatrick coming out looking for Roscoe Parrish, and it took him too long to get up the field. Parrish snapped his route off thinking there was a blitz because there were so many people at the line of scrimmage, and Fitzpatrick came out of the bootleg looking for him, and Terrence Knighton was standing right in his face.
2nd down and a long 15 at the 22 for Buffalo. Fitzpatrick down the sideline. Evans. Oh, knocked away. Great recovery by Derek Cox as he made up ground while that ball was in the air.
Yeah, and that's the matchup that the Bills wanted. Cox against Evans. And Evans can't get the separation. Ball's a little underthrown. If you throw that high into the outside, they'd have a chance. But up front, Fitzpatrick with plenty of time to get rid of this. And getting double teamed there by tight end and C.J. Spiller. I think most teams would like to see if C.J. Spiller can protect in pass protection. We'll see if the Jacksonville Jaguars trying to get him isolated in that.
Third down and 15 at the 22. Fitzpatrick rolls out with time. Fires down the sideline. And this will be Stupper, the tight end, with an 11-yard gain on 3rd and 15. And Buffalo will punt it away.
And Fitzpatrick feels his pressure. Watch as he just pulls it and just spins out. That's a gamble by a quarterback because you don't really know what's going to happen on your blind side when you spin out of that. It was a good move by Fitzpatrick to complete that, to get a little extra room for the punt team, but still, this Bills team needs to get first downs.
Ryan Mormon punting. Mike Thomas stands at the 21. Beautiful punt by Mormon, angling it toward the near side. Thomas at the 5. And Thomas up to the 15. George Wilson with a tackle on special teams, a 62-yard punt and 8-yard return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. We understand you need a winning game plan. FedEx. And by Wells Fargo Advisors.
Welcome back to Buffalo. 13-6 Bills. 0-4 on the season. Jacksonville 2-2, trying to go over the 500 mark after that win last week against Indianapolis at home. First down and 10 at 15. Maurice Jones-Drew. And he crosses the 20. Knocked backwards. Andre Davis, first man to him. That's a 6-yard gain.
Yeah, watches handing Maurice Jones-Drew the ball in between the tackles and just pushes the pie. It's hard to get him off his feet because you can't get low enough to, you kind of have to lift those guys and get them on the ground. You can't get low enough to lift him off the ground. He's below everybody, and he's so strong you can't push him to the ground.
Second down for the 21. Jones and Jones-Drew in the backfield. Here's Maurice Jones-Drew. Gets to the 26. As Dante Whitner finally trips him up. 4-yard pickup. So that's a first down for Jacksonville.
Yeah, just straight ahead blocking for the guys up front in Jacksonville. Nothing complicated as they just keep pounding Maurice Jones-Drew. And you know, you think how those guys up front like that. I think they like it a lot. They just want to keep getting first downs on the ground and just roll right to the other end of the field.
First down and 10 at the 26. Maurice Jones-Drew again, and this time tackled at the line of scrimmage. Kyle Williams lost his helmet. And the fifth-year player out of LSU gets up.
You see this right again, he's following Greg Jones right up into the middle, in the fullback, just trying to find a play. You can see how difficult it is. There's Williams' head coming off. Kyle Williams, one of the guys that Jack Del Rio mentioned as being a guy they've got to have an answer for. Kyle Williams, a very high motor down inside.
Jones, Taji Kareem in the backfield. Here's Garrard throwing down the field. Beautiful throw and catch. Mike Thomas cradling the football as he catches that one in front of Leotis McKelvin for a 25-yard gain.
And this is an excellent throw by Garrard. He fits this right in over the linebackers, down inside, and as we said, Mike Thomas, a guy Jack Del Rio says really coming into his own, starting to be a more consistent wide receiver. Most of the guys that come into the league can make big plays and have some athletic ability, but can they do the little things, the every down plays?
First catch of the day. Here's the reverse. Thomas again. This time striding with a blocker in front of him. And Mike Thomas held on to the football and gets to the 15. Dante Whitner knocks him out of bounds, but that's a 33-yard run.
Well, after an early fumble, Mike Thomas coming back, making up for it with a big, big reverse. You see there following Miller down the field, gets a good block downfield from the receiver. Huge play for Jacksonville.
This guy's either taking a cat nap or copping some rays.
It's a beautiful day.
First down and 10 at the 15 for Jacksonville. Maurice Jones-Drew in the backfield. They fire it. Thomas picks it up. Nice catch. That ball thrown low, and Mike Thomas able to pick it up off the turf almost and gain 7 yards. Was Leslie Jarris-Bird.
And we talked about this earlier in the game. If you're going to leave the guy uncovered, not put somebody right up on him, you always run the risk of the quarterback standing up and just throwing it to him. And sometimes the play is called, other times it's automatic. If they line up, the quarterback will make eye contact and the receiver knows it's coming.
Second down and 3 of the 8. Maurice Jones-Drew. And he gets to the 6. Andre Davis. And a 3-yard gain. Maurice Jones-Drew.
And you think, as badly as it's gone for Jacksonville in this first half, as you see Winery come around trying to pull around and lead Jones-Drew through the thing, they score here, it's tied up, and they've given away 10 points off turnovers, and Jacksonville driving to tie this game up late in the first half.
Third down and 1 at the 6, out of the eye. Miller crossing, Maurice Jones-Drew. And looks like he has enough for the first down.
Boy, there's no nonsense about this Jacksonville game plan, Gus. They're just going to run it, and they got a 1st and goal to see if they can run it in.
Don't forget, coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join Greg, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. 9th play of the drive that started at the Jacksonville 15. 1st and goal at the 4. Garrard underneath. Maurice Jones-Drew catches it at the 1, and he gets knocked down by Jarris-Bird.
It was a great throw by Garrard. Bird comes there, gets there just as the ball does. You'll see right down here. Just does manage to keep him out of the end zone.
Jacksonville calls a timeout. They have 1 left, 13-6 Buffalo. Goal at the 1. Play action, Garrard in the end zone, touchdown. Mercedes Lewis.
And after a great drive, Jacksonville has given themselves a chance to tie this game with the extra point from Scobie. Had an impressive drive, 85 yards, ending with this rollout touchdown pass from Garrard as Kelsey trying to cover Lewis. And we said Lewis is just a huge matchup for a lot of teams, not able to defend it.
10-play drive covering 85 yards. Scobie adds the extra point. And with 25 seconds remaining in the first half, we're all tied up at 13 here in Orchard Park. Mercedes Lewis, his 4th receiving touchdown of the year. That's a career high.
And the Bills have struggled defending tight ends at times this season. Lewis is one of the guys who has emerged. I think he's one of the top tight ends in the league right now. I mean, you can talk about Tony Gonzalez and Antonio Gates. This guy's different than them. He's an enormous guy. He's 6'6", 275. He's like an offensive tackle, but he runs the ball well. He's a huge target, and David Garrard found him on that rollout pass. You don't know if you try and match up and get stiff to help him up, hold up against him in the run game, he breaks out and becomes a receiver.
14 catches on the year. Spiller picks it up at the goal line. And Spiller dropped at the 21. Nice tackle on special teams made by Tyron Brackenridge. Tonight, when the CEO of DirecTV goes undercover, he's not just plugging in, he's connecting with his employees like never before. All new Undercover Boss tonight, only CBS. First down and 10 at the 22 for Buffalo. Fred Jackson goes in motion. Now he's in the slot. Comes back into the backfield. 19 seconds to go. Here's a screen. Jackson. And that is read perfectly by Don Carey. Second-year player. He's a Spartan from Norfolk State, and that should take us to the end of the half. So Buffalo gets off to a great start, but David Garrard and the Jaguars reel them in, and as we head into halftime, we have a tie score.
And I don't think there's any question these teams are going to make some adjustments at halftime, Gus. And I think when you come out after halftime, those first possession we're going to see from both of these clubs is going to be the difference in the second half.
13-13. We'll be back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. Score 13 apiece, Jaguars and the Bills here in Buffalo. Welcome back, everybody. Gus Johnson along with Steve Tasker. Very interesting first half. The Bills get off to a great start. Jacksonville pulls them right back in.
Yeah, Jacksonville spent the whole first half digging themselves out of the hole they dug for themselves with the 2 turnovers, the fumbled punt and then the tipped interception. But they've done it. They've dug themselves out. It's a 0-0 game virtually at halftime to all tied up. And Jacksonville, you got to tip your hat to them. They've got the lead. They've got the momentum in this game coming into the second half.
All right, let's take a look at the All-State points of protection.
Well, there's no question that the story of the first half was the 2 turnovers that led to the 10 Buffalo points. And then, of course, they got the Lee Evans long touchdown pass to the Bills. The Bills could not protect the lead, however. They gave up 10 unanswered, and Mercedes Lewis was the difference maker there at the end of the first half, catching his 4th touchdown of the season. I mean, you know, Jacksonville has battled back into this game that looked early on like it was going to get out of hand, Gus, but the Jaguars and Jack Del Rio wouldn't let it happen.
So Buffalo will kick it off to begin the second half. Deji Kareem, the deep man, comes up to field this one at the 10. And Kareem, beautiful running to midfield. And lowers his shoulder and gets inside Buffalo territory. What a run. 50 yards. George Wilson throws himself under the chariot.
Well, he catches it at the 10 going forward and follows his wedge up, and that's what happened, Gus. It was timed perfectly so that when he got there at full speed, the wedge hit the wedge busters at just the right moment. He picked a crease and got through there. You see how fast it happens in special teams. If you have a guy that gets knocked out of his lanes, it's going to be a problem if it's timed up right by the return team.
Deji Kareem, rookie out of Southern Illinois. Maurice Jones-Drew running. And they grab him from behind. Nice job by Kyle Williams.
Yeah,
1 yard gain.
He submarined in there and just grabbed Jones-Drew by the shoes and wouldn't let go. This is straight ahead blocking. That's what they did in the first half. Trying to follow Jones up inside the fullback, and Kyle Williams just getting in there and getting it done. Just a hard worker. One of the most consistent defenders the Bills have had over the last 6 or 7 years.
Second down and 9 at the 38. Garrard, Mercedes Lewis, and he's hog-tied and taken down by Andre Davis, an 11-yard gain.
Yeah, and as the Bills now, you know, there's a lot was made about this Buffalo defense changing to a 3-4 defense. Now they're in a 4-man front that they played for so many years, reverting back to that, getting 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers behind them in that situation. And now they're back to the 3-4, switching it around to try and confuse the offensive line of Jacksonville.
First down to the 27. Garrard again to throw. Over the middle. Caught. And down at the touchdown. What is it? Mercedes Lewis with the catch. Touchdown.
Yeah, it thought Mercedes Lewis came down with the ball, and it looked like he might have sat down on the ground before he extended over the line, but the officials talked it over and gave it to him. We'll see. Garrard puts this ball in, and he's a big target. Look how high this ball is. He pulls it down, spins out, and yeah, it looks like it is over the line. That was a good call by the officials. You thought he might have sat down before he extended the ball, but I think it was a touchdown. Good call.
Lewis with 2 touchdowns in this game, 5 touchdowns, a career high on the season. His 3rd catch of the day. Scobie adds the extra point, and Jacksonville takes a 20-13 lead. So the big tight end having a terrific day, and the Jaguars out in front for the first time. Mercedes Lewis really turning out to be a force in the NFL in his 5th season, his 2nd career 2-touchdown game. He had 2 against Denver in their win week 1. Now Buffalo has to respond. C.J. Spiller brings it out of the end zone. And Spiller knocked out of bounds. Brock Bolin, a 16-yard return, but there is a flag.
Offside, number 29 of the kicking team. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
Yeah, you always want to make them re-kick, and you want to make them re-kick as fast as possible, so that because it's hard to cover a kick twice. And if Scobie's on his game, Gus, this is a little trick for you. If Scobie's on his game, he'll set the ball on the tee and back off and have the ball fall off the tee, so that they'll have about an extra 10 or 15 seconds to catch their wind before they have to run 60 yards to cover that kick.
Wow, that's a trick, eh? That's a special teams trick.
Not the ball falls off the tee, not all the time by accident.
And the kickers know how to do that.
That's why I said if they're good.
Let's see. Very interesting.
They do it because it's hard. I mean, in a special teams play, it's a one-time thing, and you're coming off the field to rest. So you've got the throttle pushed all the way to the floor.
They're getting a nice little break here, though.
Yeah, they are getting a break. But we'll see. You see, he's going to crush the same ball that he just tried to crush the last time he kicked. We'll see. Maybe he'll do it, maybe he won't.
Doesn't look like this one's going to fall off the tee, Steve.
He must trust the conditioning of his teammates there.
As he sends it away, Spiller. A yard deep. And Spiller gets to the 23. William Middleton with the tackle. 24-yard return. Tomorrow on CBS, it's Trouble in Paradise, as the 5-0 team tracks an escaped convict. Catch TV's #1 news show, Hawaii 5-0, tomorrow, only CBS. Ralph Wilson Stadium, Orchard Park, New York, spectacular day. 66 degrees and sunny at kickoff time.
Yeah, we said just before we went away to halftime, Gus, how important the first 2 drives, the first possession is for each team. Well, we saw Jacksonville move down the field for the big play, big touchdown right off the bat. We'll see how the Bills answer.
First down at the 22. And this is Fred Jackson. Flag on the play as he is dropped for a loss. Darrell Smith with the tackle. And a false start call against the Bills. 3rd false start against them today.
Illegal formation, number 11. Offense, he was not on the line of scrimmage. That penalty is declined. 2nd down.
Roscoe Parrish, Jack Del Rio, and Coach Del Rio were very calm yesterday. Some feel that he is on maybe not a hot seat, but a very warm one.
He doesn't coach that way. He's coaching to try and win, and he knows that winning will take care of everything. He's not worried about the hot seat thing, about getting fired. He's coaching his team for the future and the present. 2nd
down and 12. Fitzpatrick underneath. Steve Johnson with the catch. Nicely done as he dives forward and gets to the 28. Anthony Smith drags him down, but it's a 7-yard gain and a flag on the play.
This looks like it was in the Buffalo's backfield.
Personal foul, chop block, number 22, offense. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat 2nd down.
It's Fred Jackson.
What happened, Fred Jackson tried to block one of the rushers while he was engaged with an offensive lineman or another offensive player. And we'll see right here. And he did get it, but that player was not engaged with another offensive player. At least it didn't look like in that shot. And it's perfectly legal to block below the waist. And that's not a chop block. That's a cut block. There's a difference. And that's perfectly legal.
And that's what Changeli is saying.
And Changeli knows the rule too, I guess.
Second down and a long 22. Fitzpatrick to the sideline. Nice catch, Lee Evans. He got both feet inbounds. That ball right there when he came out of his break in front of Derek Cox. 11-yard gain.
Yeah, and this is one thing that Fitzpatrick has managed to do so many times over the first month of the season. Lee Evans would disappear for long stretches. There you see pretty good coverage by Cox, but Evans with a well-thrown ball is going to come down with it, and that's what a great receiver can do. He can throw to him even when he's pretty well covered.
Third down and 10 at the 22. Bills need to go to the 32 for a first down. Fitzpatrick. Sideline again. Evans with the catch, but he won't have enough for first down. Looks like he's about a yard short on 3rd and 10. He gets 9.
And once again, working against Cox coming up. He's got to get up past the line. You can see how he's trying to get up there. And what happens, and you say, why does he go 9 yards on a 10-yard route for a first down? The reason is you have a clock in your head. You have to come out of your route and be ready for the ball when the quarterback has to throw it. And you can't dictate every depth of every route. If you call a route, the receiver's got to run at the route it's called for. And if it means coming out of the break back towards the line of scrimmage in front of the down marker, you have to do it.
Mormon, this one off the side of his foot. And goes out of bounds at the 30-yard line, maybe the 31. 43-yard punt, flag on the plate.
Yeah, this is what happened. Donald Jones was covering the punt. He had been pushed out of bounds and came back in, and the ball just inadvertently fell out of the sky and hit him. Well, that's an illegal touch. He can't be the first guy to touch it after he goes out of bounds. And he didn't try to touch it. The ball hit him before it bounced out of bounds. But it's still a penalty. And you have to sort this out. But I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Number 19 of the kicking team ran out of bounds. Ball hit him while he was out of bounds. That's illegal touching of the kick. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the spot where it went out of bounds. First down.
You're absolutely right, partner.
And there you have it.
Take another look.
Down right here. Now he had been out of bounds already. That's why the hat down here is out of bounds. The official saw him run out of bounds. Even though he was not out of bounds at that time, he had been out of bounds. You see right there. So he cannot be the first guy to touch the ball. And of course the ball bats him, falling out of the sky, and that's the penalty.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Burger King, who reminds you to have it your way. And by Ford F-Series, America's best-selling brand of trucks for 33 years straight, built Ford tough.
Welcome back to Ralph Wilson Stadium. Jacksonville taking over, first down and 10. At the 36-yard line. It's been a big day for Mercedes Lewis. This man. And Buffalo has had some problems defending tight ends this year. Hand off Maurice Jones-Drew. And he gets to the 40 before being knocked backwards. Terrell Troop, the rookie from Central Florida, with the tackle, but it's a 4-yard gain.
And once again, Jacksonville going right back, picking up that hammer and swinging it again. Nothing fancy, just handing it to Jones-Drew up between the tackles and letting him push the pile. A gain of 4. That's a nice solid run on first down. Sets you up very well for second and third down to keep the chains moving.
13 carries, 53 yards for Maurice Jones-Drew. They give it to him again, trying to turn the corner. And Florence pushes him out of bounds. 5-yard gain. Let's take a look at the Jaguars' possession.
Yeah, once David Garrard had that interception, it was field goal, TD, TD. The Bills haven't stopped them since. Nice 10 and 12 play drives as well. So the Jacksonville Jaguars finding their rhythm after a shaky and sputtering start.
There's Mercedes Lewis. 2 touchdowns already, 4 catches, 54 yards. 3rd down and 1 at the 45. Option. Jones-Drew. No. Posluszny. Oh, look at the great extra effort by Maurice Jones-Drew that may have given him a 1st down.
Well, they're going to spot it just shy. And they'll bring up a 4th and very short. But watch here, Posluszny wraps him up, and then Jones-Drew just won't go down. Almost, it's a sideline lateral and just dragging him. Watch Posluszny, look at his eyes coming up. He sees it, he knows the play, he knows this concept that Garrard's going to try and get it to Jones-Drew, and you can see how much taller Posluszny is than Jones-Drew trying to pull him down.
Now look at this gamble, 4th down and 1 at their own 45. Jaguars going for it, quarterback sneak. I don't think he got there.
I think it might have got pulled loose.
And the Bills say they have the football. Do they? Yes.
Garrard tried to get in there, and he did, and he was trying to get it, and somebody ripped that football out from under the pile. And the only reason I know that, Gus, is you can tell by the reaction of the players. You can see there, Dante Whitner comes out with the football. Watch, the ball's gonna right in here. You'll see he gets it, does the double hitch, and then it gets kicked by his own offensive lineman trying to go forward. And when that ball's in there, Gus, you'll see it just gets kicked by one of his offensive linemen firing out, and that's a play you think that they're going to convert on a 4th and short. And what luck does David Garrard have? I'll tell you what, it is bad luck.
3rd turnover of the day for Jacksonville. So Buffalo takes over at the 45. That one, whoa. Just a bit high.
They'll watch that on film tomorrow and they'll laugh whether they win this game or not. Are you kidding me? This ball. I mean, Steve Johnson's looking at that. Are you kidding me? I can't even
get that eye.
Just didn't have a good grip on that one.
2nd down and 10 at the 45. Fred Jackson. Jackson with running room, making people miss. Down the sideline. Oh! Jackson! 31-yard gain for Freddie Jackson. Doozable. And Rasheed Mathis with the tackle, but what a nice piece of running.
Well, I said earlier, you'll never see a more intelligent guy with the football in his hands. You see there the jab move, he takes the leg away, turns the corner, switches the ball to the outside arm, and then decides to stay in and spins out of another 2 tackles. What a great job, what great vision by Freddie Jackson to make a big play out of a normal inside the tackle running play.
9 carries, 77 yards, 1st down and 10 of the 14. And Fitzpatrick skipping that football to Roscoe Parrish, who picked it up like a shortstop, and now there's a flag. Derek Cox may have grabbed his face mask.
The reason that play was still alive was he threw that pass backwards, and it one-hopped to Parrish, and Parrish alertly picked it up knowing it was a backward pass and just went ahead and ran. And Fitzpatrick was pounding the turf after that play.
Personal foul, grasping the helmet opening, the defense. That penalty will be measured half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
But the thing about this pass is that it goes backwards. He releases it from about the 22, and it lands at the 23 at Parrish's feet. And Parrish knows it and picks it up. And this the horse collar tackle up around the helmet is illegal. And that was a big play that looked pretty awful from Buffalo's standpoint at the beginning.
1st down and goal at the 5. Ball keeps slipping out of the hand of Ryan Fitzpatrick. Jackson runs it, and Jackson falls forward. Allen with the stop. He may have gotten to the 4.
You have to wonder if they switched footballs at halftime or what. Ryan Fitzpatrick can't get a grip on the football that's actually in the game. Two of them have come out of his hand for quick sideline passes and have just looked awful.
Second down and goal at the 5. Fitzpatrick, the slant, incomplete. Wow, that one thrown behind Steve Johnson. Still could have made a play.
Yeah, Steve Johnson would like to have that one back. You got to make that play. He had two hands back. It was right on his back shoulder. You'll see. You got to make that catch. That's a throw that it could have been better, yeah. But that's a catch you've got to make.
Something interesting, Steve, about Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't think I've ever seen a player play with his wedding ring on.
You're right. I see it as well. I did not notice it until you said that. And sure enough.
Third down and goal at the 5-yard line. Fitzpatrick again, this time. Touchdown! Steve Johnson.
Well, they gave him another try after he just couldn't pull the slant route in, and Rashean Mathis is asking Jack Del Rio to challenge that catch. Rashean doesn't think he caught it, and we'll see right here. Now, this is going to be a deliberate underthrow. He's got it. Oh, he's bobbling it. This may come back if Jack Del Rio wants to challenge it. It's hard to see, and it's not going to get done.
Extra point is good.
Too late now.
Couldn't really see it on our replays. So with 6:56 to play in the third, we're tied once again. Buffalo and Jacksonville, 20. Well, they love their Bills here in Buffalo, and the home team showing some comeback ability, Steve. It's tied up now at 20.
Yeah, it's just like they came out of halftime. The game is for each team to be had. It'll be interesting now.
Deji Kareem, who had a 50-yard return the last time. He ran it back. Once again, Kareem, another great return. Gets up to the 46-yard line, a 39-yard run. Ryan Lindell, the kicker, had to make the tackle. But Ryan Fitzpatrick finds Steve Johnson to tie this game up at 20.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Allstate. Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you like Allstate. And by DirecTV. Watch your favorite team wherever you live, only on DirecTV. Call to switch today.
Game tied at 20. Jaguars take over at their own 47 after another great Deji Kareem run. Here's a reverse again. Mike Thomas, and this time he is tackled by Dante Whitner after a 4-yard gain. That's the third time they've run the reverse, and the Jaguars have turned it over 3 times as well.
It started on the first punt by the Buffalo Bills. Right as he caught the ball, Mike Thomas coughed it, and then Gabriel Garrard gets it tipped at the line of scrimmage, and then kicked out of his own possession by his offensive line, who was trying to surge ahead. 3 turnovers have really hurt the Jaguars. They've been digging out of the hole ever since.
17 points off those 3 turnovers. 2nd and 6. Garrard. Pump fake. Garrard. Flag on the play. Garrard running. And David Garrard sliding down. Marcus Stroud looks like he may be hurt as he limps off the field. 99, the former Jaguar.
Holding, number 63. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
That's Brad Meester, the center, call for the hold. And there's Marcus Stroud.
Yeah, he might have either got kicked in the shin or maybe has a cramp in his calf. We'll see if they stretch his calf out. Yeah, it looks like his calf is, yeah. We'll see if he gets kicked or if he gets. Yeah, I think he just pulled up lame. Just kind of pulled up lame.
2nd down and 16 at the 40. Garrard underneath. And this ball caught by Mike Sims Walker, and he gets decked by Dante Whitner. Wow. A 13-yard gain on 2nd and 16. Watch and listen to this contact.
And it's loud. I'm telling you, we said it's louder inside the helmet, Gus.
3rd down and 3 at the 47. Both these teams really fighting in the center of the ring now. David Garrard on 3rd and 3. We haven't really seen him run it. Here's Garrard underneath, caught again. Mike Sims Walker takes a lick, but holds on to the football as Posluszny and Leotis McKelvin combined on the tackle, but it's a 1st down, Jags.
And that's, you know, if you look back to where the Bills were, they were in a 3rd and long, and their receivers couldn't get past the sticks. This time, Sims Walker goes just a yard deeper than the 1st down marker, sits down, and Garrard drills it into the traffic for the 1st down. That's how you convert, and the reason is because it was 3rd and short for Jacksonville, 3rd and long for Buffalo.
Brock Boland, Deji Kareem check in the game. Here's Deji again. Tell you what, Deji Kareem is a terrific-looking prospect. 5'8", 209.
Yeah, out of Southern Illinois, came out and he got him returning kicks. He's got those fresh legs, Gus. He just wants a chance to do it, and he's really run extremely well. And you know he's soaking up everything that Maurice Jones-Drew will teach him. And he's built a lot like Maurice Jones-Drew. Not quite as thick, but certainly has the athleticism.
1st down and 10 of the 29. Out of the eye, Kareem the deep man. 2nd man through, Deji Kareem. And he'll maybe gain a yard. Cleveland Browns won a game last week, 1st of the season. And right now they're taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Here's Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Gus, thank you. And Atlanta down until this moment. Matt Ryan on top. Roddy White at the other end of a 45-yard touchdown pass with the extra point. The Falcons grab the lead on the Cleveland Browns. It's 13-10, under 6.5 to play in the 3rd. Gus and Steve, back to you.
All right, Greg. David Garrard here in Buffalo has hit 8 in a row. 2nd and 9. At the 28, out of the gun. Garrard. Fire. Oh, Mike Sims Walker goes up high and brings it down at the 5. Beautiful catch. That was thrown high as Jarris Byrd knocks him out of bounds, a gain of 20. High snap on this play.
Garrard handles the high snap, and then on this drive and late here in this game, they've started to look for Mike Sims Walker. Mercedes Lewis has been covered up, and they've started to spread the football around, and Buffalo is being spread too thin. David Garrard finding different people other than Mercedes Lewis and Maurice Jones-Drew. Now he's looking to Kareem and Sims Walker.
No catches for Sims Walker last week against Indy. Mojo, touchdown Jacksonville.
Flag down.
Holton, number 89, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
Mercedes Lewis.
And that's a crusher. That's a crusher. Right here. Working there against Dante Whitner. And hangs on to the shoulder pad, I guess. Right here is where it is. And
what's the rule on holding? It's if you get your hands inside, right, Pete? I mean, Steve?
Yeah, you can't have your hands outside the frame of your body or the person you're engaged with body. You have to be inside tight to grab onto them. If your hands is way out, if you have to reach out and grab, that's a hold, and that was a hold.
1st down and goal of the 16, Garrard. Rolls out, throws on the run. Incomplete. Maurice Jones-Drew took his eyes off the football.
Pretty good throw by Garrard, though, and you see there Garrard buying himself some time, extending the play, breaking contain, and that's a good throw. And you got to know Jones-Drew would pull that in probably 9 out of 10 times.
2nd and goal at the 16. 3 receivers at the top of your screen, folks. Sims Walker in the slot. Now the cross. Underwood lines up at the bottom. Underneath Thomas with the grab, gets to the 10. Thomas tracked down by Puzlesny. Puz tackles him at the 6 after a 10-yard gain on 2nd and goal at the 16.
Yeah, he breaks the tackle of corner at the top. As you see there, Mercedes Lewis not really a part of that play. And here's the tackle that he breaks to get out and get the extra yardage.
Montel Owens checks into the game for Jacksonville. He's at Garrard's left, 3rd and goal at the 7. David Garrard looking, and the end zone touchdown. A strike to Mike Sims Walker. And what a drive for Sims Walker as Jacksonville retakes the lead.
Yeah, they took one touchdown away with a hold and brought it back. Got back in working against Puzlesny, and that's a matchup that favors Jacksonville. Wide receiver locked in with an inside linebacker with all kinds of space. Sims Walker, 4 catches on that drive for 46 yards and the TD.
Scobie adds the extra point. High scoring affair here in Orchard Park, New York. David Garrard spreading it around. Jags take the lead. Welcome back. Big day for Mike Sims Walker.
Yeah, all in the last drive. You remember a couple of weeks ago, had no catches. Then he had 10 catches for 105 against San Diego, I believe.
Last week did not have a reception. So Mike Sims Walker starting to rally in the 2nd half, and this is C.J. Spiller. C.J. Spiller going down at the 15-yard line. Tyron Brackenridge with the tackle. Wednesday on Survivor, the game is turned upside down. New tribes form, but old conflicts remain. And severe weather strikes. A new Survivor, Wednesday only. CBS.
And
David Garrard, after throwing that interception early, he has really settled down. 3 touchdown passes, and he looks terrific.
yeah, taking the lead back from the Bills twice in this 2nd half.
1st down and 10 at the 15. McIntyre, Spiller in the backfield. Spiller. Ooh. Welcome to the National Football League, young fella. Aaron Campman stacks him up and takes him down.
Yeah, he's working right here against Cordero Howard, who's a rookie, free agent from Georgia Tech, playing tackle and learning what it's like to go up against a guy who knows what's going on in the NFL. Aaron Campman has been a huge upgrade for Jacksonville, and Cordero Howard trying to hang in there at right tackle.
2nd down and 12 of the 13. Fitzpatrick with time. No! Aaron Campman, the long arm of the law, comes up with the sack. Derek Harvey there as well. That's the 3rd sack of the day for Jacksonville.
Well, they tried to double team him with the tight end Stupor and Spiller, who I think steps in, and he pushes both of them back in to Fitzpatrick's lap. I mean, you're going to double team him with a tight end and a running back. That's not good enough. You got to double team him with an offensive lineman and a tight end.
A 9-yard loss. 3rd down, 21 at the 4. Buffalo digging a hole for themselves now. And they hand it off to Spiller. C.J. Spiller gets a block. And C.J. Spiller down at the 12. And that'll take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Jacksonville with the lead. We'll return to Buffalo after this. Start of the 4th quarter, Jaguars with a 7-point lead. Jacksonville 2-2 on the season. Buffalo 0-4 as Mormon prepares to send it away. He's punting. He's about 4 yards deep in his own end zone. Mike Thomas hovering around the 40, his own 40. Mormon drives his football. Thomas backpedaling, picks it up at the 35, slips, looking, and he is swung down. George Wilson with the tackle, a 51-yard punt and 8-yard return. Tomorrow, Dave's all new with the Big Bang Theory's Jim Parsons, and Tuesday, don't miss Matt Damon, followed by The Late Show with Craig Ferguson, only CBS.
Well, this is a time when Jacksonville can really put a lid on this game with a nice solid drive and another score, even if it is a field goal. And they know that's exactly what they're thinking, Gus.
Maurice Jones-Drew. And Maurice Jones-Drew, great running. He gets to the 37. Andre Davis stops him, but he gains 17.
And that's the kind of run you expected from him all day. And now Maurice Jones-Drew staying down. You do not need that if you're Jacksonville.
And that gets Jack Del Rio off the sideline.
Well, that'll put the onus on Deji Kareem. Staying on his feet, and you know, running backs always try to do that. And, oh, he might have just fallen on the football. He might have just gotten the wind knocked out of him with the point of the football. When you come down and you hold that ball and it's close to your body, Gus, and you get pushed forward, and your weight and the weight of the defender falls on the football, sometimes you just, you know,
it's like getting punched in the stomach.
Yeah, and the worst that could happen is it, you know, it could bust a rib doing it, but that ball seems high right in his solar plexus, and I'll tell you, I know that hurts, man. Woo-hoo. If he comes back in the game, I would think that's probably what happened. He just got the wind knocked out of him.
And you know he's coming back in the game, one of the toughest players in the NFL. And not only is he a tough player, smart, articulate, and just an all-around good guy.
Yeah, he sees the big picture for his own team and for the league and for his place on his team and their offense. I mean, this is a team in Jacksonville. I mean, they get down 10 points early in this game. They've got Peyton Manning in their division. They're not going to flinch at a 10-point deficit.
Deji Kareem comes back in. Kareem, 5 carries, 23 yards. He runs it. Outside. Kareem, woo, spinning. Goes down. Dante Whitner tried to knock him back to Jacksonville, but the rookie spun out of it and gains 11.
Well, you can hear the collisions from up here, the blocks, the tackles, everything. I mean, guys are really starting to pound on each other. Listen to this. There's about 3 or 4 of them. There's some flying around, Gus, man. What a game.
The best game. First down and 10. Kareem. Again. Look at his balance. Look at his vision. As the rookie gets close to the 20, Posluszny with the tackle, and he got 5 the hard way there.
Sometimes in the league, Gus, you'll see a team struggle against the run for a week, and they won't be able to defend it, but they'll work on it, they'll talk about it, they'll watch film, and a weakness in one game becomes a strength in another because you get back to basics and you do some things better. Buffalo is a team that has struggled against the run, and there's some fundamental problems. They're switching from a 4-3 to a 3-4. They've got things that won't be fixed in 1 week.
2nd and 5 to the 21. Kareem. And he lowers his head and falls forward. Terrell Troop in there. 4-yard gain. Buffalo's rush defense has struggled in the past 2 games. 2 weeks ago, the Bills allowed 200 yards and a pair of TDs on the ground against New England. Last week, the Jets rushed for 273 and 2 scores in their win against the Bills. LaDainian Tomlinson looked like a 21-year-old back. So far, the defense this year averaging 174, and they've given up 178 today. 3rd down and 1. Kareem.
Be very close.
Marcus Stroud catches him.
And I don't think we saw him go for it earlier in the game, Gus. This is field goal territory here. Josh Scobie might get a break and get a field goal less than 40 yards if they don't pick up this first down.
Scobie good from 49 yards twice today. So they will bring out the chains.
I think that's short of the first down.
Your eye better than mine. They need to get
to the 16. Right up here is where they need to get to. And you see down here, those lines match on either end. So you know if that ball is behind that, it's not going to be there. It's going to bring up fourth down.
So let's see what Jack Del Rio elects to do, and he sends out his kicker.
Yeah, why not? I mean, the guy's been perfect for the season. And it'll put you up by 2 scores with 12 minutes to go in the game. That's a no-brainer, and it's a good move. And Josh Scobie going to take a breather. He's got a 7-point lead for a change, and if he's inside 40 yards, this is a day at the beach for him.
So this one will be from 34 yards out. First time he's attempted a field goal less than 40 yards all season.
We'll get a chance to see how his short game is.
Just as good as his long game.
Just as good.
Scobie 3 for 3, 30-20. J-Bell.
That's why he got drafted 2 guys.
Jacksonville up 30-20. Maurice Jones-Drew has a sprained wrist, and his return is questionable. Not sure which wrist it is, but most likely it's the one with
without the glove.
Without the glove, yeah.
Yeah, at 10-point fourth quarter of this game, after rushing for 178 as a team, he might take a chance to sit down.
C.J. Spiller back deep. And this is the up man, Donald Jones. And Jones breaking it down the sideline and goes out of bounds at about the 40. 30-20, fourth straight game. The Bills have allowed 30 points. Ryan Fitzpatrick has to get his team going. The Buffalo Bills down 30-20 as they take over at the 39-yard line running the football. Fred Jackson goes nowhere. No gain on the play. Alu with the stop. Fourth consecutive game for the Bills that they've allowed 30 points. First time, Steve, in this proud franchise is history.
Yep. And they're trying to dig out of a hole that's longer than just these 4 games as well. They've been a team that's been out of the playoffs for 10 straight years. And that's not something anybody wants to see.
Second down and 12. Fitzpatrick underneath, and it's caught by Steve Johnson. He is wrestled to the ground by Aaron Campman. Campman having a terrific day. I don't know if they're going to give him 2 sacks, but he at least will record a sack and a half.
Well, he's been a difference maker even if he hasn't been around the football. You'll watch here, opening drive, he knocks this pass down, gets in around the double team, forces the play, then gets the sack. And then, as we saw a little bit ago, takes on the tight end, pushes him back into the back, and then back into Fitzpatrick. And I think he'll get a credit for that sack as well. He is a force.
Third down and 6 at the 42 for Buffalo. Big play. Fitzpatrick throws. Incomplete. Intended for Lee Evans. Gerald Alexander there. And now the Bills with 10-14 to play in the fourth, down by 10, will have to punt it away.
Well, this is Lee Evans going to take it off. He gets left uncovered and then goes in, and that's just a little confusing. He doesn't know what to do because he's maybe supposed to break that off. That's hit right there from Cox, is the guy that was covering Evans. He went from all the way from Lee Evans all the way into Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Evans was uncovered. You talk about a confusing thing to try and block. They also dropped Campman off into coverage, so the Bills being really confused up front.
Ryan Morgan fakes it. He's going to run. He's got some room, and he will not get there.
Tackled by Montel Owens, a running back. Ryan Morgan, one of the better athletes on the team, so to speak. He's got good speed, but he's not as fast as Montel Owens. And it looks like he gets up a little bit gimpy as well.
And they told us yesterday in our meetings with the Jaguars, they were expecting Buffalo at 0-4 to pull out all the stops, Steve.
Yeah, and you can see that they'll do that. That's special teams coordinator Bruce DeHaven, who coached me for 11 and a half years here in Buffalo. Then he went around and coached with Parcells and with Mariucci and with Holmgren. Now back in Buffalo.
Maurice Jones-Drew back in. So Maurice Jones-Drew showing the toughness, tender wrist and all. Back in the game, picks up 2 yards. On the day, 17 carries, 77 yards.
Yeah, you can just see him. We've talked to him a bunch, and you can just see him over on the sideline. Just tape it up. I'm going back in. I'm not sitting out. I mean, this is a guy that's not going to miss an opportunity. He knows better than anybody. You take a day off, even if it's the 4th quarter, and somebody else will have a great day, and you'll be sitting down next week, too.
2nd down and 8 at the 41. Garrard underneath. Mike Thomas. Nice throw. Beautiful catch on the slant. That's a gain of 10 in front of Leotis McKelvin. And David Garrard has had a very solid day, Steve.
Yeah, he had a little shaky start, no question, but he comes out of it, rolls out. They've moved him around a lot. Mercedes Lewis touchdown. Another Mercedes Lewis touchdown. And he's been very, very nice in the pocket. And there's the 3rd one to Sims Walker. And after getting the ball batted at the line of scrimmage and intercepted early on in this game, he came back to have a wonderful day.
Had a great game last week. 17 of 22, 163, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Play action. Garrard wants to run it now. And look at his nifty footwork as he gets inside the 30. Only a 2-yard gain, but he used his feet to avoid the sack. Aiken Adell and Reggie Torbor there to stop him.
Yeah, and we said in the open, Gus, this team, more than any other in the league, plays only as well as their quarterback does. And the whole team got off to a bad start, turning it over, fumbling a punt, giving up 10 points defensively. Then Garrard got it together, and so did the whole team. This is not a sack because he gains yardage on the run. But we also said, in the open, I'd be surprised if they threw it 20 times. They've thrown it 19 to this point.
2nd and 8 at the 29. Maurice Jones-Drew.
Jones-Drew on the carry.
And Aiken Adell, first man to him. Maybe a yard on the play.
And you know, they would really love never to throw the football again in this game.
Ball control. Jaguars eating up the clock. 7:38 and counting.
And there you have it. That's 182 yards today. Jack Del Rio, 8 years as head coach of Jacksonville.
3rd down and 6. Maurice Jones-Drew looking for the first down, and he drags people with him. And when you look at the time of possession, Jacksonville has had the ball 30 minutes and 19 seconds in this game. Buffalo 22-33.
And Scobie will come out again.
Josh Scobie good from 49 yards twice, and also from 34 yards.
To attempt a 40-yard field goal.
He'll attempt a 40-yarder this time.
Yeah, this is back in his wheelhouse, up over that 40-yard mark.
And good.
Got it, yeah.
Josh Scobie is in the zone, Steve.
He has not missed this season, and he has not had any easy kicks. This one just sneaks inside the right upright. He stays perfect.
(33-20) Jacksonville. The story of the day, Josh Scobie. He's kicked 2 49-yard field goals, a 34-yard field goal, and a 40-yard field goal. On the year, he is a perfect 9 for 9. C.J. Spiller back deep. Starts from the 7. And Spiller wrapped up and taken down by Eric Alexander. A 9-yard return.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Macy's and by E-Trade.
Great shot of the Rainbow Bridge here in Buffalo. Going to Canada from the United States. First down and 10 now for the Bills. At their own 18-yard line. Time not on their side. Fitzpatrick steps up in the pocket, wants to run, and is taken down at the 22-yard line. Carey, first man to him. It's a 4-yard gain.
You look at Buffalo and their schedule. Week 1, Miami, then Green Bay, New England, and New York Jets. It's the third toughest schedule in the National Football League. Trails only Cleveland and San Francisco. Only those two teams have had tougher schedules than Buffalo.
Second down and 6 underneath, ball caught. And a nice job as Wilson comes up with the catch. Make that Nelson comes up with the catch. And he stopped by Don Carey. Hurry up offense being used now by this Bills squad. Underneath, Lee Evans.
You know, Gus, it's interesting as you see Buffalo try and go hurry up to finish this game, and Jacksonville sitting there nursing a 13-point lead. If this drive does not end in points for Buffalo, do we see Trent Edwards and do we see David Garrard sit down?
That is quite possible. First down at the 45. Fitzpatrick up top. Incomplete. That one thrown over the head of Evans. I tell you who's played really well today is Derek Cox, number 21, the cornerback who's been guarding Lee Evans.
Yeah, he came in being, you know, quote unquote, the weak link. But this is a guy that's been matched up with anybody over Lee Evans, Steve Johnson, Roscoe Parrish, and has done an extremely good job. The one touchdown given up by the secondary that you remember was in zone coverage, and Rasheed Mathis gave up the touchdown to Donald Jones.
Two tall corners, both Rasheed Mathis and Derek Cox, 6'1". Second and 10. Incomplete. Intended for Jackson out of the backfield.
Fitzpatrick's pass intended for
and that brings up third down and long.
Yeah, and this kind of offense, I mean, you're going to get into some long situations because, you know, you're not running the football. You're not taking the time. And one of the reasons teams huddle up, one of the things that happens, Gus, that's interesting is when you huddle up, your offensive linemen have a chance to regroup and talk about and communicate between plays. When you go no huddle, sometimes they start to miss things because they don't get that normal time between plays to check in with each other.
Third down and 10. Here comes a blitz. Fitzpatrick fires over the middle, and he has his receiver. That's David Nelson again. Kirk Morrison first man to him, a gain of 8 on 3rd and 10, so that brings up a fourth down in which the Bills will have to go for it.
Yeah. It's interesting. Fourth down and they'll go for it. I wonder how healthy Brian Moorman is after getting tackled and limping off the field.
Empty backfield on 4th and 2. Fitzpatrick throws, almost intercepted. Gerald Alexander had it, but the Bills will turn it over on down.
And Ryan Fitzpatrick standing in the pocket as it collapses around him, and he gets hit right in the lower body as he releases it, and the ball flutters out, and that is an easy pick that just falls to the ground because Gerald Alexander doesn't catch very well.
So with 4:27 to go, Jacksonville takes over, close to midfield, leading it 33-20. Both teams with 3 timeouts left. The pitch. Kareem looking. Finds a block. Watch out. He's a burner. And Kareem. Another great run. Dante Whitner stopped him, but he picks up 15. Deji Kareem, 10 carries, 58 yards.
Well, this is the kind of thing that happens when you get behind as a football team and the other team wants to run the football a lot, particularly late in games. The earlier you get down, the more they start to run it earlier in games, and the Bills are giving up a couple of hundred yards in rushing every week. And one of the reasons is they're always trailing in the second half of football games, and teams start to hand it off in situations where they wouldn't normally do that.
Kareem again running it as Jacksonville determined to stay on the ground and eat up the clock with 3:30 and counting. Now this week on Showtime's Inside the NFL, two very special guests join JB, Phil, Chris, and Warren to discuss everything football. John McEnroe and David Faraday. How about that? That's Inside the NFL, Wednesdays at 9 p.m. only on Showtime. Of course, when you think of the NFL, you think of John McEnroe and David Faraday, a tennis player and a golfer.
Yeah. Everybody loves this game.
But you know they'll definitely have opinions.
Yes.
It'd be fun to watch them go at it. Come to think about it. 2nd and 11 at the 38. The handoff, Kareem again. Tackle from behind by Posluszny. Tampa Bay taking on Cincinnati. Here's Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Gus, thank you. Carson Palmer from a yard out will find Jerome Gresham for the touchdown. The Bengals convert the 2-point attempt, and they lead Tampa Bay 21-14. Still plenty of time to play in the fourth. Gus and Steve.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. A timeout on the field here. And some dejected faces on the Bills sideline. 0-5 they're facing.
General Manager Buddy Nix was asked this week about changing the culture. How that was one of the jobs Chan Gailey had to do here in Buffalo, and he acknowledged that it was probably the #1 job, was changing a team who has gotten used to losing and showing them that it is not acceptable.
Farrard underneath Mike Sims-Walker, the intended receiver. But getting back to that point about the organization, now you've been a long time Bill, 13 years. Your name is on the Ring of Honor. From a talent perspective, it seems like the Bills are kind of under the bar.
Well, you look at the Bills, they do have a lot of good players, but it's hard to find a star on this roster. And usually you look at the running backs and their quarterbacks. Certainly their quarterback carousel has been well documented. They've had so many guys since the guy Jim Kelly was here. It's hard to replace a guy like that, but they never have stopped looking, and they just haven't gotten it done yet.
Now Scobie in to attempt a 46-yarder. It's up, and wow, is this young man having a terrific start to his season. 10 for 10 on the year. 5 for 5 today for Scobie, and there's a big smile on his head coach's face. Josh Scobie, 2 49-yarders, a 46-yarder, a 40-yarder, and a 34-yarder, and Jacksonville takes a 36-20 lead. In the meantime, Green Bay and Washington facing each other. Here's Greg Gumbel once again.
All right, Gus in Washington. The Redskins sneak just a little bit closer. Donovan McNabb, 48 yards to Anthony Armstrong with the extra point. The Packer lead is down to 3. It's 13-10, 8:16 to play in the fourth. Gus and Steve, back to you.
Yeah, last week Aaron Rodgers only threw 17 times. With an elite quarterback like that, you know, he had a little meeting with the offensive coordinator and said, listen, man, I don't want to throw the ball just 17 times. I want to throw it out. And I think Green Bay's trying to do that. Washington hanging in there with him, though.
Donovan McNabb, if they can get him maybe an extra receiver to go along with Santana Moss, that could be a tough spot.
Everybody needs something, though.
That's
you know, everybody wants something. Brett Favre might be happy for
I think he's pretty happy today. We'll see tomorrow. And Dan Donald Jones bobbled it, picked it up, and gets to the 25. 22-yard return. Courtney Green.
On the tackle for
And let's take a look at the running game for the Jags.
Well, we knew coming in that they were going to face a Bills defense who had struggled to stop the run. On the end around, Thomas, Jones-Drew, and of course the rest of the gang, Kareem, everybody's getting into the act. And they have carried the football a lot today, and they will continue to. 213 yards rushing on the day.
That man, Maurice Jones-Drew, 19 carries, 84 yards. Deji Kareem, 12 carries, 67 yards. Mike Thomas, 3 carries, 53 yards. Mostly on reverses. Fitzpatrick. Ball is caught. And it's Steve Johnson who gets out of bounds. Derek Cox riding him out of bounds after a 15-yard gain.
We get in two and a half minutes to go in the game. The Bills in total desperation mode, no huddle, shotgun, five receivers out, and this is when your quarterback is vulnerable if they get somebody running free.
Fitzpatrick, Roscoe Parrish. And that should take us to the 2-minute warning as William Middleton brings him down. 2 minutes to go. Jacksonville up big, 36-20. (36-20) Jacksonville. 2 minutes to play in the fourth quarter here in Orchard Park, New York. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker with you as the Bills faced with the 2nd down and 3 at the 48. Fitzpatrick throwing, and it's knocked away, intended for Parrish. Rasheed Mathis knocking it away, and there's a flag.
And say they climbed over the top to get there.
Pass interference, number 27, defense, automatic first down.
We'll see. I see he breaks on the ball very fast, and he does get there early. It's a good call. Hard to see. The official was right on top of it.
First down at the Jacksonville 44. And Steve Johnson with the catch, knocked out of bounds by Mathis. Stops the clock at 1:50.
And Fitzpatrick doing what he's got to do, just get the ball out of his hands to the sideline, stop the clock. I mean, you know, the Buffalo Bills, they're going to have to score a touchdown, get a 2-point conversion, get an onside kick, score another touchdown, and then another 2-point conversion for this game to be tied. They're just thinking about next week right now. They're trying to get better and trying to learn some things about football that'll help them win a game instead of play desperation football at the end of games.
Fitzpatrick to Roscoe Parrish. Nice catch. And Parrish down at the 6 by Derek Cox. Fitzpatrick trying to get him quickly to the line of scrimmage. And Buffalo calls a timeout.
They come with a secondary blitz, and they run right by Parrish. Fitzpatrick saw it and delivered the football right where he should have, to where the defense was thinnest, and completed it. You know, Buffalo last 0-5 start came back in 1985. The Bills started 0-6 en route to a 2-14 finish. Buffalo scored fewer than 10 points in 7 games that season and lost 5 games by 7 points or less.
And you know what happened? The next year they acquired a guy named Steve Tasker, and it all turned around.
Yeah.
4 Super Bowls later, 4 AFC championships later.
That's right.
By the way, there was Andre Reed.
And I arrived
Andre Reed, Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, and Bruce Smith.
Yeah, I actually arrived.
Darryl Talley.
Just after that 12 guy. Just before 34 and the rest of that crew.
So that crew was pretty good.
I had great seats for those Super Bowls, too.
That's right.
Right on the sidelines, where I belong.
First down and goal at the 7. It's Patrick underneath. And the ball caught. Steve Johnson, touchdown. Steve Johnson, the rookie out of Florida, running a nice route here.
Yeah, and this was just a little delay route. He comes in, stops, and Rasheed Mathis tries to plant, come back out and make the tackle. He can't. Once he fell down, the play was made. Nice design play.
Second touchdown catch for Steve today.
And of course, as I said, touchdown and 2-point conversion, and the onside kick to follow.
Fitzpatrick, that ball batted down. Somebody got a hand up on the line of scrimmage, and the 2-point conversion fails for Buffalo.
And I think we'll still see an onside kick here, but that was knocked down. It looked like
Jeremy Mincy.
Yeah, Mincy. Yancey, the third year out of Florida. 9 of the 11 defensive linemen for the Jacksonville Jaguars were not on the team a year ago. 9 of the 11 guys on the roster.
Jacksonville starting to hit a little groove. They talked about how important it was for them to beat Peyton Manning last week, and how Manning walked off the field with that look on his face. And whenever you get Peyton Manning to have that mean look on his face, that means you've done something well.
That's right. You see this tough games coming up. Kansas City hanging tough with Indianapolis as well today, but Tennessee always difficult, and of course Dallas. A late bye week for Jacksonville this year. Latest since 2004, I believe.
Jack Del Rio said, the only thing I'm concerned with is winning a championship. I'm not concerned with playing well one week and not playing well another week.
Here comes the onside.
Fielded easily. And that is Mike Sims-Walker on the hands team. Jacksonville will take over with the football at the 43. Now coming up next, Chris Johnson and the Titans travel to Dallas to face Tony Romo and the Cowboys. Or Phillip Rivers leads the Chargers in an AFC West battle against the Raiders. Check local listings. Interesting game for Dallas. They're coming off the bye week after finally winning a football game, defeating Houston on the road for their first win of the year.
Look at that, 0 punts. This is the second game thus far this season that Adam Podlish has not had to punt.
Kareem. And Kareem stopped by Kelsey. Timeout called by Buffalo. They are now out of timeouts with 1:28 to go. So Adam Podlish got a day off. Didn't have to punt one time.
That's right. That's rare, and it is a rarity. But when your team, turns it over once or twice and then finds its stride, you get an easy day. Maurice Jones-Drew didn't have a day off.
Finishes with 84 yards rushing on 19 carries. No touchdown.
Podlish, the punter from Pittsford, New York, right here in Western New York. The Rochester guy.
Kareem falls forward. Let's take a look at the Bills' schedule as they will go 0-5 on the year.
Yeah, and head into their bye week, I think mercifully getting a week off. But then, I mean, you look at it, Baltimore, Kansas City, and Chicago. That's a tough 3-game stretch, 2 road games to start off after the bye week.
Looks like the Lions will get a win today, defeating St. Louis. Third down at 6 to 40. Kareem. And Kareem goes down. Andre Davis stops him with 38 seconds to go. Brings up 4th down. Jack Del Rio, as always, cool on the sideline. Happy man.
That's going to do it. They're just inside the play clock. And that'll do it for today for the Jacksonville Jaguars, coming back after a big win in Indianapolis and staying tough and winning here in Buffalo after a shaky start. Gus, you got to tip your hat to David Garrard. It looked like it might be one of those days where it'll get out of hand for him, but he settled himself and threw for 3 touchdowns.
How about Josh Scobie? Perfect on the day as well. The final score, 36-26. Jacksonville. For Steve Tasker, this is Gus Johnson saying so long from Buffalo. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. Coming up, it's the Burger King Update.